Alrighty, folks, I'm 7-0. My last 7 board member picks on my premium site. Yesterday, beginning of the video, did my damnedest to get you on board. Now, we did have a lot of people sign up yesterday, but guys, when I tell you to become a chairman member, the $1.99 membership doesn't make you a chairman member. You actually have to join the chairman package, the chairman tier. So we had a lot of signups, but I think a lot of people got confused as to what it means to become a chairman member. If you sign up for the $1.99 package, you are not a chairman member. You have to sign up for the chairman package to become a chairman member. No big deal. We got another day, big slate of games. We got a lot of plays going off. But once again, guys, 7-0 in my last 7 board member picks on my premium site. Tried to tell you yesterday, we're pretty hot right now. And this package has been great. It is included with the chairman membership, or if you want, just sign up for the board member package. Doesn't really matter. We're winning a ton of games in that membership. Guys, I have another one of those board member picks going off here today. The only way you can find out which one of these free plays on this video is being featured as my board member pick, you gotta become a board member on the homepage. All right, let's go ahead and dive into the free content. Not gonna rant. I tried to tell you yesterday. I'm trying to tell you today. If you're not on board, I don't know what you're doing. But anyway, let's go ahead and dive into some free plays for Friday, May 24th. 2024. We're going to start off with the Braves taking on the Pirates, 6:40 p.m. East. Atlanta's $1.65, totals 9.5. Looks like Alan Winans for the Braves, although I did see, I saw somebody else listed on a couple different sites. I'm pretty sure it's Alan Winans for the Braves, Bailey Falter for Pittsburgh. And even though Falter's been, really good, strikeouts are down a bit for the lefty, and, well, the Pirates just don't want to win for the guy. He's recorded only 2 wins through 51 innings, and the reason for that, it's a lot of poor hitting from his lineup. The Pirates are a bottom 5 run-producing team on their own diamond. Jack Sawinski, I don't know what happened to him. He's hitting just $1.74. And for those who don't know, Rowdy Tellez is actually a Pittsburgh Pirate, and he's batting just $1.75. That's how much Milwaukee thought of him. They said, hey, we're going to keep you within the division so you can suck against us. And of course, Pittsburgh, they're taking on an Atlanta squad who can obviously hit with the best of them. These guys are in the top 5 in the National League in hits per game. And out of their last 10 meetings with Pittsburgh, the Braves averaged over 6.3 runs a game. So they've had sustained success against Pittsburgh pitching. If you're into historical trends, you certainly want to think about that one there. Now, injury-wise, Murphy's out for the Braves. Riley's questionable. Meanwhile, for Pittsburgh, Hayes is still out for them. Grandal's questionable with a groin. Now, total-wise, 7 out of Atlanta's last 10 ball games did fall under the total. The Braves are also 70% to the under for the entire year when they bat first. Give me the Braves minus 165, under 9.5. Next contest, Blue Jays Tigers, 6:40 p.m. East. Toronto's minus $1.20 away from home, totals 8.5. Alek Manoah for Toronto, Matt Manning for Detroit. Now, Manning's had some good appearances this season. He's got an ERA in the 3s along with a .94 whip. That said, though, the Tigers are having their issues offensively, especially at home. These guys are in the bottom 5 in run production on their own field. Really not doing a great job at the plate at Comerica Park. Meanwhile, Toronto on the other side, they're having similar problems at the dish as well. They're a bottom 3 hit-producing team when they travel. Now, 6 out of the Blue Jays' last 10 ball games did fall under the total. They're also 7-3 to the under in their last 10 meetings with Detroit. So if you're into historical trends, plenty of unders to go around. Give me the under 8.5. Next contest, Mariners Nationals, 6:45 East. Seattle's minus $1.55, total 7.5. George Kirby for the M's, Mackenzie Gore for Washington. And Gore is having a solid year for Washington despite his record. He's got an ERA in the threes, and he has 54 strikeouts in just 46-plus innings. When it comes to cashing in on the run line, the Nats have been a solid covering team this year with regards to the number. They're cashing in on over 60% of their ball games this year, and of course, in reference to the run line. And they are taking on one of the worst hitting lineups in the game. Seattle striking out more times per contest than any other roster in the majors. And no real surprise here, they're currently in the bottom 5 in runs per contest. Urias hits just $1.52. Garver only $1.84. Now, injury-wise, Lane Thomas still on the IL for the Nats. When it comes to the total, 6 out of Washington's last 10 ball games did stay under the total. And they're also 65% to the under against the American League. Now, Seattle's gone 14-4 to the under in their interleague contests. Give me the Nationals plus 1.5, under 7.5. Next game, Royals Rays, 6:50 p.m. East. Tampa Bay is minus $1.20, totals 8 runs. Sean Armstrong, for Tampa Bay. Seth Lugo for Kansas City. And man, I'll tell you, what a pickup for the Royals with Seth Lugo. The righty's 7-1 with a 1.79 ERA. And for those who don't know, this Kansas City pitching staff, they're the real deal. They're arguably the best in the American League, at least them and the Yankees, both looking really good. But the Royals are allowing fewer runs a game than any other club in the American League right now. And, of course, they have to square off against a bottom 10 run producing team in Tampa Bay. Randy Arozarena bats just $1.62, who's a series just 172. And even if they do round the bases here a bit today, well, starting pitcher Sean, wow, I'm having trouble with that name. Sean Armstrong. He's been shaky at best. He's got an ERA in the 4s along with a lackluster 1.34 whip. Now, injury-wise, Josh Lowe is questionable for the Rays. Keep an eye on him. When it comes to the total, the Rays have gone 17-12 to the over at the Trop. Give me the Royals plus $1, over 8. Next contest, Dodgers-Reds, 7:10 Eastern first pitch. The LA Dodgers are minus 155, totals 9.5. James Paxton for the Dodgers, Graham Ashcraft for Cincinnati. Now, Ashcraft's had his fair share of rough outings. He's got an ERA of 4.25, whip of 1.42. And he's going to have to be better than that because his fielders can't hit, since he averages a league-worst 6.9 hits a game. And I'll tell you, they could have some problems with James Paxton here today. Most teams do. Paxy's 5-0 with an ERA in the 2s. And I'll tell you, it's really tough to keep the Dodgers off the base paths. They're in the top 3 in both hits per game and walks per contest on the road. Shohei Ohtani bats a league-best 354 at the plate, first in the bigs in OPS as well. Meanwhile, Mookie Betts hits 330 and has the 6th highest OPS average in the bigs. Now, injury-wise, Max Muncy's out for the Dodgers. Jake Fraley questionable for the Reds, since he's 12-7 to the over against National League opponents at home. Meanwhile, the Dodgers went 60% to the over in their last 10 themselves. Give me the Dodgers minus 155, over 9.5. Next game, Brewers, Red Sox, 7:10 Eastern start time. Boston's minus 135, totals 9.5. Carter Crawford for the Red Sox, Bryce Wilson for Milwaukee. Now, both pitchers have been fantastic for both squads, both with ERAs in the 2s. And believe it or not, both with identical whip of just 1.14. This is one of those big boy plays. Can't give you a freebie on this one. You may want to think about visiting that website. Ain't going to be free there either. Like I said, this is one of them big boy games. You ain't getting a freebie for this one. Not so fast. All right, next matchup, Giants-Mets, 7:10 Eastern first pitch. The Mets are minus 145, totals 8 runs. Christian Scott for the Mets, Kyle Harrison for San Francisco. And Harrison comes into today's game with a pretty impressive resume. He's lost only 1 game this year through 55 innings of work. He's currently 4-1 on the season with an ERA in the 3s. And for some reason, the Mets just don't want to hit at home. They score a bunch of runs when they travel, but when they're in Flushing, Queens, crickets. Nothing. Nada. New York's averaging fewer runs a game at home than any other squad in the National League. Francisco Lindor hits just 203. Brandon Nimmo has the most strikeouts. But even if they do hit well here today, still uncertain that starting pitcher Christian Scott will get the job done. He's 0-2 through 16-plus innings with an ERA in the 4s. Now, 6 out of the Mets' last 10 meetings with San Francisco did stay under the line. Give me the Giants plus 1.5, under 7.5. Next contest, Rangers Twins, 7:10 Eastern start time. Minnesota's minus $1.55, totals 8.5. Bailey Ober for the Twins, Jose Urena for Texas. And don't let Urena's record fool you. He's thrown some solid innings this year. He's got an ERA in the low 3s, 1.17 whip. And I'll tell you, the Rangers do typically pound the baseball away from Arlington. They still currently average more runs a game on the road than any other lineup besides one. Adolis Garcia is in the top 10 in both home runs and RBI. Corey Seager's got the most walks. As bad as the Rangers have been recently, well, Minnesota's been equally as shitty. They lost 7 out of their last 9, and they could run into some problems with Bailey Ober on the mound. The righty's got an ERA of 4.40 coming into today's start, and for some reason the Twins just don't want to hit at Target Field. They're a bottom 5 run-producing team at home in the American League. Now, injury-wise, Royce Lewis still out for Minnesota. Wyatt Langford out for the Rangers. 3 out of Texas's last 4 road games did fall under the total. They're also 7-3 the under in their last 10 at any location. Now, Minnesota went 70% to the under in their last 10 themselves. Give me Texas plus 1.5, under 8.5. Next game, Orioles White Sox, 7:40 Eastern first pitch. Baltimore's 260, total 7.5. Corbin Burns for Baltimore, Chris Flexen for Chicago. Now, Flexen's had a rough year in Chicago. 2-4 record, ERA of 5.48. He's also backed by one of the worst lineup of hitters in the game. The White Sox are dead last in the bigs and runs per contest. We should probably see more of the same here today as they square off against Corbin Burns. The Baltimore righty's got a 1.02 whip, ERA in the 2s. He's also backed by an impressive lineup of sluggers. Baltimore's in the top 5 in runs per game. Gunnar Henderson's got the second most home runs in the league, OPS in the 900s. Meanwhile, Adley Rutschman leads the lineup in hits. And out of Baltimore's last 10 meetings with Chicago, they averaged over 6.2 runs a game, hit the ball very well. Now, injury-wise, Jimenez, Robert, and Ramos are all still out for the White Sox. 8 out of Chicago's last 10 gatherings with Baltimore did get over the total. Meanwhile, the O's went 7-3 to the over in their last 10. Give me Baltimore minus 1.5, over 7.5. Next game, Cubs, Cards, 8:15 Eastern start time. Chicago's minus 140, total 7.5. Shota Imanaga for Chicago, Miles Mikolas for St. Louis. And I'll tell you what, Mikolas is having a dreadful season. 3-5 record on the year, ERA close to 6. And of course, at the plate, the Cards are having difficulties rounding the bases. They're a bottom 5 run scoring team in the National League. Nolan Gorman's batting .207. Paul Goldschmidt, he's got an OPS in the 500s. And I'll tell you, I can't see these guys having a multi-hit game here today against Shota. The lefty Imanaga's 5-0 with the Cubs with a .84 ERA. His ERA is actually lower than his whip. And of course, as a pitching staff, the Cubbies are in the top 5 in the majors in strikeouts per 9 on the mound. Now, injury-wise, William Contreras, he is still out for the Redbirds. And when it comes to the total, St. Louis went 8-2 to the under in their last 10 meetings with Chicago. The Cubs went 70% to the under in their last 10 themselves. Give me the Cubs minus 140, under 7.5. Next contest, Phillies, Rockies, 8:40 Eastern start time. Philadelphia is minus 225, totals 11. Chris Sanchez for Philadelphia, Ty Blach for Colorado. Now, Blach's got just one win on the season with an ERA in the fives. Of course, these Rocky pitchers are allowing more hits a game than any other staff in baseball. And unfortunately for them, they're facing the best run-producing lineup in the game themselves. Alec Boehm's got the second most RBI in the big leagues. Bryce Harper's got an OPS in the 900s. Now, one more thing to add here. You can't overlook the production of utility guy Edmundo Sosa. He's replaced Trey Turner as he's been on the IL. Sosa's hitting .323 with an OPS nearly in the thousands. So surprisingly, no drop-off from the absence of Trey Turner. Now, injury-wise, Turner is still out for the Phils. Jones inactive for Colorado. 7 out of the Rockies' last 10 ball games did get over the total. Meanwhile, Philadelphia went 60% to the over in their last 10 themselves. Give me the Phillies minus 1.5 over 11. Next game, Guardians, Angels, 9:38 start time, Eastern. Both teams minus $1.10, total 7.5. Patrick Sandoval for Los Angeles, Logan Allen for Cleveland. And the lefty Allen continues to win games despite some dicey outings. Allen's 5-2 on the year through 51-plus innings. And he's backed by a solid lineup of hitters. These guys rank in the top 5 in runs per game. David Fry's hitting .349, OPS in the thousands. And Jose Ramirez, he has a dozen homers and ranks 3rd in the big leagues in runs batted in. They're facing Patty Sandoval, who's just 2-6 on the year with an ERA of .459. And out of 22 ball games at Angel Stadium, Los Angeles took the loss in all of those contests except for 6. Now, injury-wise, Adrianza, Sano, Drury, they're all still out for the Angels. Meanwhile, for the Guardians, Stephen Kwan still inactive for them. 3 out of LA's last 4 ball games at Angel Stadium got over the total. They're also 60% to the over in their last 10 at any location. Give me Cleveland minus $1.10 over 8. All right, next game. It's going to be Astros Athletics, 9:40 Eastern start time. Houston's minus $1.80, totals 8.5. Justin Verlander for Houston, Ross Stripling for Oakland. And even though Stripling's been awful this year, the A's did get the W in 2 out of their last 3. And they're now averaging over 5.9 runs a game during that short span. And believe it or not, the A's have, scored a considerable amount of runs at the Coliseum this year. These guys are a top 10 run producing lineup at home. And they're facing a Houston squad who really hasn't performed well for starting pitcher Justin Verlander. The righty's just 2-2 on the year, and strikeouts are definitely down for the future Hall of Famer. And I'll tell you what, this Houston pitching staff as a whole, they've been brutal away from Minute Maid Park. They're allowing over 5.7 runs a game in their travels. Now, injury-wise, Andujar and Ruiz are still out for the A's. When it comes to the total, Oakland saw 2 out of their last 3 home games get over the line. Meanwhile, Houston went 60% to the over in their last 10 at any location. Give me the A's plus 1.5 over 8.5. All right, next contest. It is going to be Marlins Diamondbacks, 9:40 Eastern first pitch. Arizona's the $2 favorite, totals 8 runs. Zach Gallen for Arizona, Braxton Garrett for Miami. And regardless of how bad Miami's been this season, they've been a bit of a cash cow on the run line recently. They covered in their last 3 straight on the road. They also went 80% against the 80% against the number in their last 10 at any location. And they're facing an Arizona club who failed to cover in 5 out of their last 6 at Chase Field. And as good as Zach Gallen's been, I think he's going to be in trouble if Miami gets to the bullpen early. Arizona's allowing more hits a game at home than any other pitching staff besides one. Now, injury-wise, Perdomo and Thomas are out for the D-backs. Garcia inactive for Miami. The Marlins went 60% to the over in their last 10. Meanwhile, Arizona saw 7 out of their last 10 get over the total themselves. Give me the Marlins plus 1.5 over 8. With that, folks, we're going to dive into our next and final matchup for the video. It's going to be in that Yankees-Padres game. That'll be a 9:40 Eastern first pitch. New York's minus $1.15, total 7.5. Carlos Rodon for the Bombers. Yu Darvish for San Diego. Now, Darvy's been really good this year. Not going to take that away from him. But my biggest concern is this lineup of hitters. The Pods are just not getting the job done at Petco Park. They're a bottom 5 hit-producing team at home in the National League. And out of 26 total games at Petco Park this year, the Pods currently have a win percentage of just .384. They're facing a Yankee club who won 8 out of their last 10. And I'll tell you, they played excellent on the road. As a matter of fact, the Yankees have the most road wins in the American League. Of course, most of that has to do with some excellent pitching. The Bombers allow fewer runs a game than any other staff in baseball. And today's starter, Carlos Rodon, he's been no different. He's 5-2 with an ERA in the 3s. Now, injury-wise, Trevino is questionable for New York. Bogart's inactive for San Diego. The Pods' last 3 straight at home all got over the total. They also went 7-3 the over in their last 10. Give me the Yankees minus $1.15 over 7.5. And with that, folks, now it's time for our quick pick recap. Give me the Braves minus 165 under 9.5. I like the under 8.5 in the Blue Jays-Tigers game. I'm 7-0 my last 7 board member picks on my premium site. Give me the Nationals plus 1.5 under 7.5 runs. Royals plus $1 over 8. Dodgers minus 155 over 9.5. I have no free pick available for you in the Brewers Red Sox game. Give me the Giants plus 1.5 under 7.5. Rangers plus 1.5 under 8.5 runs. Orioles minus 1.5 over 7.5. Cubs minus $1.40 under 7.5. Phillies minus 1.5 over 11. Guardians minus $1.10 over 8. Oakland plus 1.5 over 8.5 runs. Miami plus 1.5 over 8. Give me the Yankees minus $1.15 over 7.5 runs. And with that, folks, that's going to do it for me. Don't forget to check me out on my premium site. Now, if you do end up getting a membership here today on patreon.com/BrockPage, just a friendly reminder, you're going to get access to that membership every single day for the next 30 days. And as an added bonus, you're also going to get access to all of my cheaper memberships absolutely free. They're going to be included with your purchase. That's why I always tell folks that Chairman Package, it's a full access, all-inclusive membership. Gives you access to every single premium selection of mine, every single package, every single day for the next 30 days. As an added bonus, you're also going to get access to all of my cheaper memberships absolutely free. They're going to be included with your... What I'm also trying to say is if you sign up for that Chairman Package, you're also going to get access to my Chairman Podcast absolutely free. It's going to be included with your purchase. But most importantly, folks, got to thank you for joining me right here on the free video. Really hope you enjoyed all this great free content, all this great free information. With that said, folks, happy Friday to you. Happy Memorial Day weekend to you. And I look forward to seeing you later on today on my premium site at patreon.com/BrockPage.